Back in Pittsburgh, moments away from the opening kickoff. Last week, the Steelers experienced intermittent communications issues on their coaches' headsets, but this week their concerns are not regarding the information flow on the sideline. The focus is on the field, and we head down to the field. Laura Okmin.
Hi, Kenny. Describing Pittsburgh's defense last week, Tom Brady used the word chaos. The Steelers chose a different word, miscommunication. That was the theme this week. Defensive coordinator Keith Butler did away with huddles all week in practice, only signaling plays in from the sideline, forcing players to communicate better from front to back. Kenny?
Thanks very much, Laura. 49ers won the toss, elected to defer. Ben Roethlisberger leads the Steelers offense onto the field. He is one regular season win shy of matching our colleague Terry Bradshaw's franchise record.
Very kind of you to bring that to his attention on Friday.
He was surprised, unaware, but very complimentary of Mr. Bradshaw.
Absolutely.
Steelers coming off the loss in Foxborough in the opening game of the NFL season, as Roethlisberger hands it off to a longtime Carolina Panther, D'Angelo Williams, and he's met by the combination of Ian Williams and Quentin Dial as we check out the Steelers' offensive line.
And obviously, Cody Wallace in for Mike Pouncey, who's going to be out here at the beginning of the season, a group that played well against the Patriots. Can they do that again this week against a very strong Niners front? D'Angelo Williams had a great night. He'll have to have a great afternoon today.
Marquise Pouncey out with the ankle injury. 8th career start for Wallace. Brown in motion, 2 tight ends set. 2nd and 10, penalty flag as Roethlisberger throws for the first time. And the catch is made by the fullback, Roosevelt Nix. Our referee this afternoon is Craig Rolstad.
Defense, offside, number 92. 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
Quentin Dial, the guilty 49er.
Well, one of the greatest things week 1 this year for me was the return of Navarro Bowman for the San Francisco 49ers, coming back from that devastating knee injury he suffered in the championship game a couple of years ago, and had an opportunity to sit down with him. He's going to have a little bit of a different role. Patrick Willis is gone. He's got to be more the leader, the guy that everybody else on the defense is going to look to.
2nd down and 5 following the penalty. 3 receivers set. Roethlisberger extending the play, now throws. And it's incomplete behind Marcus Wheaton. 3rd and 5 coming up, and now a late flag has been thrown.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 73. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is incomplete pass. It's 3rd down.
And you saw Marcus Wheaton attempting to block downfield, and the ball landed near him. I think that was some type of screen, one of those bubble screens on the outside, to a running back inside that just didn't get executed properly at all.
Mike Tomlin 7-1 in home openers as head coach here in Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 5. Steelers must get to the 30. 4 flags.
False start. Offense, number 73. The defense did not get in the neutral zone. 3rd down.
There's Ramon Foster flagged for the 2nd consecutive play. The Steelers' offensive line penalized 5 times in the season opener in New England.
Well, we talked about fundamental breakdowns with the defense against the Patriots at the start of this game. It's the offense having some issues here with just some basic things.
Now 3rd down and 10 following the penalty. As Roethlisberger throws, and it's Antonio Brown who makes the catch for the Steelers' 1st down.
Tell you, not a lot of room for Ben Roethlisberger to drop this ball in over the top. You've got safety help coming from the middle of the field. There's the separation by Antonio Brown. But you can see Eric Reid is coming across to really shorten that gap. Great throw and catch by the Steelers.
His 400th career reception. D'Angelo Williams now shifts from the slot into the backfield. A 28-yard pass play. And now a challenge flag has been thrown. Top of your screen by 49ers head coach Jim Tomsula.
San Francisco is challenging the ruling on the field of a catch.
With the collision by Eric Reed, Antonio Brown, remember, he's going to the ground, so he's got to maintain possession all the way through this process. Number one, does he get, he's inbounds. Looks like he has possession all the way through the process. I think the play will stand as called.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver had possession, got his elbow down in bounds. San Francisco will be charged with a first timeout.
I think maybe the concern for Jim Tomsula, you'll see a little bit of movement with the ball right there, but he doesn't lose control.
So the ruling on the field confirmed. Steelers have run 3 offensive plays. We've had 3 yellow flags and 1 red flag thrown to this point over the first minute 32. First and 10, 48-yard line. Roethlisberger's pass off the hands of Brown with Michael Wilhoit defending.
You can see Antonio Brown coming back just a little bit out of sync, coming from the bottom of the screen, just going to try and find that soft spot in between the linebackers right there, and Ben's kind of leading him a little bit, and if he moves that way, Michael Wilhoit is going to put a big hit on him.
Now second and 10 as Miller shifts. Roethlisberger fires, and it's complete for a first down to Marcus Wheaton in 49ers territory. 18-yard connection.
Kind of an all or nothing right now for the Steelers offense, as you talked about it, Kenny. Some penalties, some sloppy play, and then a big play down the field, and then some misfires, and maybe some quarterback wide receiver situations where they're not on the same page, and then something that looks perfectly executed.
Remember, the Steelers still without Le'Veon Bell and Martavis Bryant due to suspensions. First and 10, 33-yard line. This is Williams filling in for Bell, and D'Angelo Williams, the all-time leading rusher in Carolina Panthers history, did a terrific job in his Steelers debut, 127 yards against New England.
Perfect fit for what's happening right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers with Le'Veon Bell out. Obviously the talent, so you can take up that 2-game suspension and plug a guy in like D'Angelo. Tremendous running back in the NFL for quite some time, but also a great teammate. You remember he was in Carolina with Jonathan, and you're going to be down there. You got to share those reps, and sometimes that doesn't work out for running back combinations.
Nicknamed Double Trouble, they had great success with the Panthers. Wide receiver screen, and Darius Hayward-Bay is met immediately by Tremaine Brock. Guess what? Another flag.
And you got to get a block here on the outside. Heath Miller coming from that little wing spot is going to try and get out, and the aggressive play up the field by Tremaine Brock.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 72. The down will count. It's a 15-yard penalty. Third down.
Flag thrown at the end of the play on the center, Cody Wallace.
So there's 72 at the top of your screen coming in, and it's a hit on NaVorro Bowman late after the play is over. Let me tell you what, everybody's going to be taken up for NaVorro Bowman with the comeback that he's made.
Coming back from the torn ACL and MCL suffered in the NFC Championship game against Seattle on January 14. Third down and 26 following the penalty. Steelers must get to the 23-yard line for first down as Roethlisberger moves to his right, throws across the field, but the pass is high, intended for Haywood-Bay, so the Steelers send out the punting unit.
Just not a lot of consistency on this drive. On a couple of plays they look good, the execution is what it needs to be, but on other plays it hasn't looked right. And here's another great example. The scramble drill with Ben Roethlisberger is a big part of this offense, and he's thrown it deep, and Haywood-Bay is coming back.
So now the Aussie Jordan Berry will punt to fellow Aussie Jared Hayne, who muffed his first opportunity on Monday night, calls for the fair catch at the 15-yard line. So penalty flags, the story early in the first quarter. here in Pittsburgh.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Colin Kaepernick and the San Francisco 49ers start from their 15-yard line. Another flag is thrown as Kaepernick handed it off to Carlos Hyde.
Offside. Defense, number 90, lined up in the neutral zone. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Sixth penalty marker thrown. 4 of the 6 have been accepted. Kaepernick's numbers against the Vikings on Monday night. On 1st and 5, this is Hyde, who led the NFL in rushing after week 1. As we head to Los Angeles for a game break, check in with Mike Hill. Mike.
How about the Browns and Titans? How about Johnny Manziel getting the start and looking good? First pass attempt of the game, hitting Travis Benjamin, 60 yards on the score. So far, so good for the Browns, up 7-0. Moose, Skinny, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike. Manziel starting for the injured Josh McCown. On 1st down, Hyde able to spin free and then get back at the 22-yard line for a loss of 3 by Antwon Blake.
Carlos Hyde made some plays out the back door last week against the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to be a challenge here to do that against the Steelers defense. Great run support by Antwon Blake right there on the backside.
2 tight ends set for the Niners, 2nd and 13. Off the play fake, Kaepernick moving to his right. Hits one of the tight ends, Vernon Davis, for a short gain. Just 1 yard for Davis.
Well, great job by the Niners offensive line in that opener. Big question mark through the preseason. How are they going to replace some of those losses that they had in that line? And maybe the biggest replacement, Carlos Hyde taking over for franchise rushing leader Frank Gore. How would that work out? That transition is very difficult. He had a tremendous night, ran very well.
168 yards for Hyde against the Vikings on Monday. 3rd down and 12. 49ers must get to the 35 for a 1st down. And they do. As the catch is made by the former Raven, Torrey Smith, who's had some success through the years against the Steelers. 14-yard pickup.
When you have somebody that has speed, you have to respect that speed and the ability to get vertical down the field. And that allows you to run those type of comeback routes where you can get separation at the top because the corner has to be so concerned about you running past it.
So a new set of downs for the Niners. From the 38-yard line, it's Hyde. And he works his way out to the 45 for a gain of 7 as we take a look at the Steelers defense under new coordinator Keith Butler.
And obviously after last week, those fundamental breakdowns that we had with the communication, we saw a couple of instances with Rob Gronkowski outside lining up with nobody over the top. Ryan Shazier is going to make sure that the back end, the front end, the linebacker levels all understand when you have that division and that breakdown in communication, you will turn people loose.
No Reggie Bush out with a calf injury, so Jared Hayne lines up in the backfield as Kaepernick is wrapped up and taken down back at the 41-yard line by Stephon Tuitt.
A lot of times we talk about the linebackers coming in, but this Pittsburgh defensive line is good as well. Working against Jordan Devey, the new addition late in preseason, just one-on-one. Beats him and gets to Colin Kaepernick.
2nd round pick last year out of Notre Dame. Tuitt with the sack. 3rd down and 7. Three wide receivers. As Kaepernick throws, and Anquan Boldin, question is, will it be ruled a reception? Did he have the ball long enough?
They're huddling up right now to make that decision. Did he have possession, and is that a fumble, or is that going to be ruled incomplete? Now they're signaling incomplete.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 4th down.
So it is ruled an incomplete pass as Boldin had it knocked out of his hands by William Gay.
Hey, there's a movement on this. It's hard for me. It's so hard. I mean, he's caught the ball. He's turned upfield. Does he have it secured? Does he have it tucked away? Has he transitioned from the receiver to the runner? And is that a fumble or not? I mean, it seems like it's pass interference. A lot of times it just varies from week to week, from crew to crew.
And now a challenge flag has been thrown by Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. And by DraftKings. Free one-week fantasy football at DraftKings.com.
One of those difficult calls. You'll see this at real time first. So we're going to bring in Mike Pereira. Mike, you want to weigh in on this? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, well, here's the issue, and
The ruling on
actually
the
the new
field
wording of
stands.
the rule
It is
says
an incomplete pass. Fourth down, San Francisco. Pittsburgh will be charged with the first time out.
they are going to argue this, but the rule says now, did he maintain possession of the ball long enough to become a runner? And they look at this in real time, not slowed down like this. Yes, he gets a second foot down, almost a third, but it's really in real time a bang-bang play, and they want those as incomplete, and that's why they left it as that.
All right, thanks, Mike. So both head coaches have lost a challenge here in the first quarter. The rookie Bradley Pinion keeping it away from Antonio Brown. There's Anquan Bolden, the 13-year vet. Certainly agrees with the call. Steelers offense back onto the field. Niners lead the all-time series 11-9. 14 combined Super Bowl appearances, 11 wins. They have never played each other in the big game.
Now that's the ironic part. You know, obviously the Steelers in the 70s and then again in the 90s. You would have thought maybe the 90s possibly a San Francisco-Pittsburgh Super Bowl, but the dominant 80s teams by the San Francisco 49ers just missed out on that.
Second possession for the Steelers. Start from the 17-yard line. Roethlisberger on first down, handing it off to Williams, who looks to turn the corner. Pushed out of bounds by Antoine Bethea, just shy of the 20.
Good team defense by the San Francisco 49ers right there. D'Angelo Williams trying to get on the corner and turn that corner. And again, we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers with it on the last series defensively with great run support. There's the Niners showing theirs.
22, second and 8.
Second down and 8. Steelers empty the backfield. Roethlisberger, quick release. Catch is made by Hayward Bay. And again, it's Bethea who wraps him up out of bounds after a gain of 2. There's the new defensive coordinator, former head coach with the Jets and the Browns, Eric Mangini. Worked on the offensive side of the ball the last 2 years under Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, and actually learned some important information. They're understanding how many rules there are with offenses, and his goal now, try to create some gray area with the rules that they play by.
Hayward Bay able to make the catch for a Steelers first down in 49ers territory with Dante Johnson wrapped all over him. It's a 41-yard pass play.
Just getting some big chunks here early in the game, in the passing game. Play action pass, sprint out to the left, kind of throw back to the middle of the field. Darius Hayward Bay, great breakaway speed. He's got inside leverage right there. Dante Johnson is beat about 7 yards off the ball.
His third catch today. He had 3 all of last season. Here's Williams, found the hole. And D'Angelo works his way inside the 31-yard line. So the Steelers on the move as Williams gains 6. Todd Haley, Pittsburgh offensive coordinator, matching whips with Mangini. They worked together with the New York Jets under Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick in the late 90s. Second down and 3. Quick release. It's Brown on the wide receiver screen. He has a first down and more. Antonio Brown finally tackled by Kenneth Acker at the 49ers 14-yard line, a gain of 17.
Oh, what a great play call into that blitz. You're going to have the safety coming off this side right here, Jimmy Ward, and we're going to get that ball out right away with blockers in front. Really, Antoine Bethea was the only player out there if they didn't have that pursuit from inside out.
4 receiver set, including the tight end Miller. 49ers defense did not allow a touchdown in their opener against Minnesota. From the 14-yard line, Roethlisberger to the end zone. It's Wheaton. Comes down out of bounds.
That's a nice setup. During the course of the game here early on, you're running these little bubble screens on the outside, standing up and popping them, and actually this time we're going to go deep and try and catch them napping on it. And Marcus Wheaton just needs to give a little bit more room to that sideline. Allow your quarterback a little bit of margin of error. Don't get so close to the sideline.
2nd and 10 for the Steelers. From the 14. Empty backfield, Brown slot to the left. Roethlisberger looking, now he throws. There is a flag. Heath Miller, the intended receiver, Navarro Bowman on the coverage.
He raised his hand.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 53. That's a 5-yard penalty. They're automatic. First down.
He knew he was caught. He turned around, looked back at the back judge, and he was looking at him. He raised his hand, and that was me.
As if he committed a personal foul in a basketball game.
Watch Heath Miller. He's going to come in, trying to run that little pivot route, a little stutter and go. Hooks him on the hip. He looks right back. There's a hand raise. Yep, that was me.
Well, following the penalty, now 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Here's Williams. DeAngelo Williams able to gain 6. Now to the 49ers 3.
And that's a huge plus right there for an offense. For Todd Haley to be able to throw on 1st down and have that situation and then come right back and hand the ball off. If you can run the ball well in the red zone, it's such a huge advantage for your offense. This field just gets so condensed, the advantage goes to the defense.
2nd and goal from the 3. Williams lined up to the right of Roethlisberger. 3 receivers to the left. On 2nd and goal, Roethlisberger to the end zone. Touchdown, Heath Miller.
Ben Roethlisberger, motion number 1 to go for 2 points. The Steelers could be one of the more aggressive teams in the NFL going for 2. Watch Heath Miller. One of the things that he does really, really well, he's got a great feel. Look at how he sits that down. Antoine Bethea just a step short from getting there.
We asked Mike Tomlin about the new extra point scenario, and he said, I'm excited about the new extra point because I have number 7. And in Tomlin's career as Steelers head coach, Pittsburgh 11 for 14 when they've gone for 2.
It's something they spend a lot of time during the practice week working on too, situational.
Roethlisberger throws, and the catch is made by Antonio Brown for the 2-point conversion. Tomlin also told us, I think we will convert more than 50% of the time. It justifies the risk.
Well, when you got Ben Roethlisberger and you got weapons like Antonio Brown and Heath Miller scattered throughout your offense, it makes sense.
8-0 lead for the Pittsburgh Steelers, an 8-play, 83-yard drive. That's the 40th touchdown pass from Roethlisberger to Miller. Roethlisberger connected on 40 scores with Hines Ward. Most of his career, now Miller has tied that mark as DeAndrew White is upended shy of the 15-yard line. 2 premier franchises in the National Football League. Numerous Hall of Famers. They meet today for the 21st time. Steelers out to an 8-0 lead. 49ers start from their 13-yard line as Kaepernick hands it off to Hyde, who gains 4.
In that situation right there, a little bit of that zone read. We'll see how that plays out this afternoon, an element in this San Francisco running game. Not only Carlos Hyde that you have to worry about running the football, but don't forget about Colin Kaepernick on that pole.
Keith Butler, defensive coordinator, worked the last 11 seasons under Dick LeBeau. 2nd down and and 6. The toss to Hyde, who's celebrating a birthday today. Turns 24. And Hyde is out to the 20-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 3.
We talked about the environment and the culture that Jim Tom Sawyer is trying to create here with the San Francisco 49ers, but you see a lot of the same traits that we've seen over the last 4 years when they've had so much success here offensively, trying to run the football, be a run-first offense, allow Colin Kaepernick to use his athletic ability and take advantage of that and play action. And we've seen this defense fast to the ball, so a lot of those same characteristics of the 49ers.
3rd down and 3. Again, it is Hyde, and he picks up a 1st down. Hard to bring him down. Hyde finally tackled at the 30-yard line as we head downstairs to Laura.
Kenny, Darrell was talking earlier about Ronnie Shazier, talking about how important it is to communicate this whole game between all levels. That's something he took really seriously this week. He watched film with the defensive back, saying, I want to see what they see in coverage. He said they crushed him in meetings because he didn't know what a route coverage was. He said, but I want it to be in there. I want to know their words. I want them to know my words.
Thanks, Laura. Ryan Shazier, like Carlos Hyde, in his 2nd season out of Ohio State. Kaepernick on the keeper. Picks up a 1st down. He fooled everybody. Kaepernick out to the 43, a gain of 14.
Oh, this could have been bigger if Vernon Davis is able to come out the backside with Colin Kaepernick. Right, he's going to go up inside and get caught up in the wash there. If he gets out around this block right there by the wide receiver, now you're one-on-one. You've got Mike Mitchell out there as the safety. He's the only defensive player on the perimeter.
New set of downs for the Niners from the 44-yard line. This is Hyde across midfield. Just shy of the marker as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Mike Hill. Mike.
Pittsburgh fans saw enough of this guy in week 1. Tom Brady hitting Julian Edelman 8-yard touchdown catch. Pats, Bills, big game, 7-7 in the 1st. Kenny, Darrell, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. 4 touchdown passes for Brady against the Steelers a week ago Thursday. You saw Hyde limp off. Placed by Jared Haynes. 2nd down and 1. High snap. This is Haynes, and he gets bottled up. But it looks like he will be awarded the 1st down on forward progress.
And you mentioned it earlier, Kenny. Reggie Bush is not active today, so we're down to Jared Haynes and Mike Davis, and here's why. Carlos Hyde is out, and running backs do not get protection. You're down there around those knees. That's something you like to see. We talk about targeting with injuries to the head. The other area we have to always be concerned about is down in that knee area. You want guys in the thigh board up to the center part of the body. You don't want them high or low.
So it's Haynes in the backfield. He takes the handoff and gains 3. Under a minute remaining 1st quarter. Jared Haynes, 9 years in the National Rugby League in Australia, 2-time Player of the Year. Made his NFL regular season debut on Monday night, and more people watched the game in Australia than last year's Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's become a huge story down under, and I tell you what, you watch him in pregame warm-up. He's extremely athletic, and we'll talk more about him, but good news for Niners, Carlos Hyde back on the field.
2nd down and 7. Kaepernick with time over the top. And it's a 1st down as Hyde spins to the Steelers 33. And that will take us to the end of the 1st quarter here in Pittsburgh. Numerous flags early. Roethlisberger to Miller. Terrible towels waving. 49ers on the move. 1st quarter numbers in Pittsburgh. Steelers outgained the 49ers by a 2-1 margin. Pittsburgh with an 8-0 lead as we begin the 2nd quarter. It's Kaepernick for the Pittsburgh 25.
And I think that this is something that Colin Kaepernick will have to grow into and evolve into as the season goes on. He spent a lot of time in the offseason this year working with Kurt Warner down in Arizona and really getting more comfortable in the pocket, wanting to be a passer in that pocket more than a runner.
On 2nd and 2, rolling to his right. And the catch is made for a 1st down by Anquan Boldin.
And we see a nice example of it right there. The previous play, that's a designed run for him. It's going to be the zone read. You're going to pull it and take off. But in the pocket, when do I become a runner When do I transition out of that quarterback on the move, wanting to throw the ball down the field? And I thought Steve Young had some great advice to him. Now the question is, can he do this? But he said, remember, your job is to deliver the ball from the pocket, and your legs are there just for emergency situations. That will be Collins' challenge through the course of the season.
We've seen him run twice so far today. Movement prior to the snap.
Encroachment. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Steve McLennan. Down to Laura.
Well, Colin Kaepernick might have a very big challenge, not just how to use his legs, you guys. I had a very emotional talk with him about him wanting to not just be a better quarterback, but wanting to be a better person. I'll finish this in a moment, Kenny.
Thanks, Laura. First down and 5 following the penalty. As Kaepernick looks for his tight end, Vance McDonald.
He said, I've worked on who I am, not just what I do. He spent 6 weeks training in Arizona, as you said, with Kurt, but he said he went back alone to the desert, disconnected, isolated myself. He said, no outside influences. I didn't want people, Twitter, Instagram. I didn't want to hear what other people thought of me. I wanted to figure out what I thought of myself, how I carry myself as a person and a leader. Vernon Davis totally sees all the difference in the world, Kenny.
Thanks, Laura. Great stuff. Davis shifts into the backfield. 2nd and 5. With Davis leading the way, this is Hyde. And Hyde is wrestled out of bounds at the 13-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 3.
And we talk about the quarterback position being the most important for an NFL team, and that's the reason why. It's just not what Colin Kaepernick does on the field. It's his leadership. It's the example he sets. The voice of the franchise for a very storied San Francisco 49er franchise. That's why it is such a demanding job, and when you've got that right person, it makes a huge difference in your organization. So I really applaud Colin Kaepernick for really kind of peeling back the layers and wanting to be better as a leader and trying to discover that it factor.
Kaepernick to the outside. And it's the tight end Garrett Selleck who makes the catch for a San Francisco first down.
Well, we are seeing this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They definitely, with the 10 days they had, they've gotten a lot of those communication issues corrected right now. We are not seeing anybody from a formational standpoint being turned loose, lining up with nobody to cover them on that opposite side. So good job by Keith Butler and his crew this week.
14th play of the drive on the toss. This is Mike Davis, his first NFL carry. There's a flag as Davis is hit for a loss of 5. He's a rookie 4th-round pick out of South Carolina. Did not play on Monday night.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on the right tackle, Eric Pierce.
And just tremendous push by the Steelers defense on that left side. You watch right here, Bud Dupree controlling the end of the line, getting everything turned. Here comes your pressure. Good job by William Gay setting that edge, forcing everything back inside. There's the hold by Eric Pierce.
So now the 49ers force back to the 20-yard line, 1st and goal. Kaepernick to his left for Torrey Smith, but he is met immediately back at the 23-yard line, a loss of 3.
Naquan Boldin getting with Quinton Patton right away. He's on the inside right there. He's going to come out and try and get those blocks. So there's a lot of confusion on the outside on that bubble screen, and William Gay recognized it, fought through, made the tackle. You got to be more decisive. Make sure you know exactly who your assignments are. That play happened so quickly.
So it was 1st and goal from just inside the 10, but following the penalty and the loss of 3, it's now 1st and goal from the 23-yard line for San Francisco. They look to set up the screen, and Hyde gets bottled up with Cameron Hayward leading the way.
Well, that was a great job by the Steelers defense, as you pointed out, where the drive started, and in 3 consecutive plays, they reestablished the line of scrimmage very physically on the defensive left side, and then the last 2 plays, they've showed the pursuit, the speed that exists throughout this defense, just back-to-back-to-back negative plays.
This will be the 16th play of the drive, 3rd and goal from the 27. Play clock down at 3. And Kaepernick uses a timeout 49ers lost one on a challenge, so that is their second timeout of the first half.
On that opening, early in the game on the opening drives, there was that pace that the 49ers want to play with. We didn't see that on this series, Kenny. They've been kind of, especially here the last 3 or 4 plays.
Well, the most unique voice in sports is back on the air. The one and only Colin Cowherd is now on FS1. Finally, Smart Sports Talk is back. The Herd with Colin Cowherd, weekdays at noon Eastern only on FS1.
They led the league last year in delay of game penalties, so it was a big point of emphasis for this offense to be quicker to the line of scrimmage, and we saw that on the first couple of series, and even really at the beginning of this one, but the last few plays, it really hasn't been there.
It is the ultimate homecoming for Jim Tomsula. Grew up 8 miles from the stadium, 8 miles southeast in Homestead, Pennsylvania. What a story. Third and goal from the 27-yard line. Movement, flags.
Flag on the play.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
James Harrison. Eighth penalty of the first half. So the 49ers gain 5 yards back. Third and goal from the 22. Sixteenth play of the drive for San Francisco. Kaepernick steps up. Down he goes. Another flag is thrown.
Mike Tomlin told us about Cameron Hayward. You can see he's had a great series here with sacking the quarterback, pursuit from inside out, on the perimeter to make tackles.
There's no foul on the play for holding. Fourth down.
The Steeler defense just rose up here at the end. There's Cameron Hayward right there in the middle, number 97. Working straight up the field. We've seen him just pushing the pocket. We've seen him down the line in pursuit. See why Mike Tomlin's so high on him.
So here is the 17-year vet, Phil Dawson, out to attempt a 47-yard field goal. Bradley Pinion will place it down. And Dawson's kick from 47 is straight through. 17 plays, 3 points for the Niners.
Today's game is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company and the entirely new Lincoln MKX, and by Samsung, introducing the new Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus and the new Galaxy Note 5.
Back in Pittsburgh, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Laura Oakman, an 8-3 lead for the Steelers. 49ers had the ball for just under 9 minutes. They had first and goal at the 10, but following some penalties and negative plays, forced to settle for the field goal. Jim Tomsula back in Pittsburgh. The energy never leaves. Steelers offense on the field for the first time in nearly 9 minutes following a long San Francisco drive. Start from the 20. Williams in the backfield. Takes the handoff from Roethlisberger, stutter step, and D'Angelo Williams out to the 23-yard line for a gain of 3.
Injuries are a part of the game in football, and there's a great moment right there. Ben Roethlisberger, NaVorro Bowman, sure welcoming him back to the NFL. No stranger to the injury situation himself, Ben Roethlisberger.
Second game back for Bowman after missing all of last season. Second down and 7. Williams unable to make the catch. And when we spoke with NaVorro Bowman yesterday, he told us keeping my mind strong was the main thing. I had to teach myself and learn to walk again. And my mindset, as far as getting ready for practice and games, it takes over an hour every day just to get ready.
People don't understand when you have an injury like his, it's not so much the physical as it is the mental. Getting back into the right frame of mind. That ends up being the biggest challenge usually when you're talking about career-threatening injuries.
They're down at 7. Steelers must get to the 30 as Roethlisberger throws, and the catch is made by Brown. Acker all over him. Brown able to make the catch, and he gains 12 for a Steelers first down.
I saw the great catch in the opener with tight coverage, and here's another one. That is good coverage by Kenneth Acker, but here's Antonio Brown. He's not just a speed guy, right at the point of the catch.
His third reception today. Now it's Williams. And he gains 2 out to the 37.
Both of these offense very effective in the running game in week 1, and really an upgrade on the defense for both of them. Both of these offenses having a little bit of trouble getting that running game going right now.
Empty backfield for the Steelers. Second down and 8. Quick release by Roethlisberger. It's Williams. And he's spun around by Eric Reed after a gain of just 1, so it will be third down and 6. Roethlisberger on third down. Firing downfield, and the catch is made by Brown inside the 20, the 10, the 5, and finally knocked out of bounds. Antonio Brown with his 4th catch of the day, and on this one he gains 59 yards.
So a lot of times you're trying to disguise coverage. You're trying to show him something, but you're going to play something else. So Eric Reed is way up here in the front, but he thinks he can get back and play that deep half over the top, and he underestimates the speed of Antonio Brown. So sometimes when you're trying to fool the other team, you fool yourself, and it cost San Francisco a touchdown.
First and goal from the 2 as D'Angelo Williams takes it in for a Steelers touchdown.
There's the explosive nature of this Pittsburgh offense. We talked about San Francisco's previous drive, 17 plays, almost 9 minutes. They net 3, and this Steelers offense comes out on the field and just explodes for a touchdown.
Williams' first touchdown since the 2013 season, 46 rushing touchdowns as a Panther. His first as a Steeler. He's keeping the football. Steelers went for 2 following their first touchdown. They send out Josh Scobie, and there is a flag. And now Roethlisberger wants to head out onto the field.
That's on San Francisco. That's going to give you the ball at the 1-yard line.
Right.
So Ben Roethlisberger wants to get back out there.
If a penalty is committed on either an extra point
Neutral
attempt.
zone infraction. Defense number 55. Pittsburgh has chosen to enforce that penalty from the 2-yard line, half the distance, and go for 2.
Penalty on an extra point attempt or a 2-point conversion. If there is a penalty, you can change your mind.
Yeah, they don't have to go 5 yards from that spot of the kick. They can elect to go, now we're going to go for 2. So now it's a 2-point conversion from the 1-yard line. And you're going against a Steeler offense that loves the opportunity to go for 2-point plays.
They're successful on their first attempt. This time from the 1-yard line following the penalty.
Going empty again, just like they did the first time.
Roethlisberger to one for the Steelers' second 2-point conversion today.
They are good at it. They make it look easy. That is not a simple thing. Last season, 2-point plays, less than 50% effective, 47.5. These Steelers are on a roll with these plays.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
Midway through the second quarter here in Pittsburgh, a 16-3 lead for the Steelers. 7-play, 80-yard drive Here's Antonio Brown, who made the 59-yard reception leading to the D'Angelo Williams score. And this kick is taken by the up back. And it's brought out to the 18-yard line by Bowman. So the 49ers offense back out onto the field, trailing by 13.
Kind of deflating for this 49er offense right now. You have that long drive. Thank goodness they got the 3 points on the 47-yard field goal. It would have been devastating to have that, but you sit on that sideline and you watch your opposition offense go right down the field. We'll see what they can do on this possession.
For the third time, the 49ers start shy of the 20-yard line as the ball came loose at the end of the play. Hyde down to the 22 for a gain of 4.
He was already down. The ball comes out real late.
Second down and 6. High snap. Kaepernick handing it off to Hyde. First one there is his good buddy, his college teammate Ryan Shazier, who told us he's involved in group texts with Carlos Hyde.
Not this week, though.
No. Stayed away this week, but very good friends, classmates at Ohio State.
Yeah, and it's paid off the time that Ryan Shazier has spent, with the other parts of this defense during the preparation for this game. You don't see the fundamental mistakes that we saw in the opener against the Patriots. Very sound this afternoon up to this point.
Third down and 7. Niners must get to the 28 for a first. Kaepernick in trouble. Hayward wraps him up. Out he goes. Back at the 4-yard line.
They're just pushing this pocket. They're starting to take control of the line of scrimmage. Cameron Hayward, 97, standing. He's going to come to the side. I mean, that's a big body. You can't turn him loose. And then you've got Ryan Shazier coming in for cleanup off the edge with his speed.
So a big play by the Steelers defense. They pin the punter Pinion all the way back deep in the end zone. And over and kick. Taken out of bounds by Brown at midfield. Stays on his feet inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. Finally tackled by Eric Reed. Tremendous field position for the Steelers. With the defense setting the tone, Steelers lead by 13. Steelers will start from the San Francisco 35. Following the loss of 17 on the sack, and then a nice return on the Pinion punt by Antonio Brown. Play clock at 3. Play action, Roethlisberger to the end zone. There is Hayward Bay, makes the catch for a Steelers touchdown.
Wow. I mean, he just runs past Antoine Bethea. There is Hayward Bay, number 88 at the bottom, gets pushed to the safety, and he's already past him. Antoine Bethea did not expect that speed. He wasn't ready for it. Got over the top on him immediately.
Hayward Bay's first touchdown as a Steeler. Here's Scobie for the conventional extra point from 33 yards out. It is off the upright. So the Steelers go for 2 twice, convert both times, and now Scobie missing the extra point attempt. Roethlisberger to Hayward Bay, extending the Steelers' lead. Josh Scobie getting set to kick off following the missed extra point.
good. And we've seen the impact of this new extra point ruling that they put in place for this season. As you pointed out, Kenny, it went for 2 twice and were successful. You can see we're already halfway to the amount of misses we had the entire season in 2014.
And that was after last week's games. And for the Steelers, now it's a different story with the 33-yard extra point this season. That's their first missed extra point since 2008. But they did convert twice on 2-point conversions. Kickoff mishandled by rookie out of Alabama, DeAndrew White. As we head to Los Angeles, Mike Hill, what's going on with the Giants and Falcons?
G-Men and the Falcons, and guess who's in the end zone for the G-Men? Yeah, the second-year player out of LSU, Odell Beckham Jr. from Eli, 67-yard touchdown, his first of the season. We got 120 yards receiving already. It's tied at 10 in the second.
Explosiveness from Odell Beckham Jr. His jersey among the highest selling during the offseason. Kaepernick on first down. Pass is caught, taken out to the 27-yard line by the tight end Garrett Selleck.
And you may want to change your approach right now for the San Francisco 49ers. You see, they only have 7 yards passing. And remember, in that opener, Tom Brady just picked apart this defense. We've talked about the communication issues, but also just he was 19 for 19 at some point. You have to make sure, okay, they're good with their communication, but how are they defending the pass? Challenge them more.
Kaepernick's pass is caught for a first down by Torrey Smith. Those numbers, net passing yards, when you take sacks and the yardage lost into account.
And here's Colin Kaepernick, working from the pistol, but that's good, Backpedal, step, throw it out, right on stride to Torrey Smith.
Smith gained 18, under 5 minutes to play, second quarter. Able to take the handoff from Kaepernick. Now the Steelers have recovered. It's Ryan Shazier. So the 49ers turn the ball over. And again, it's Shazier. College teammate, good friends with Carlos Hyde. Both players involved on that turnover.
Yeah, it's just a bad exchange. The ball goes onto the ground. Ryan Shazier is so fast from the linebacker spot. You can see right there, it's a mishandled handoff. Ball is going to the ground. Here comes number 50. I mean, he is on the fly, able to get there before Carlos Hyde can even locate where the ball is.
Remember, the 49ers had that 17-play drive earlier, late first quarter, early second quarter, held to a field goal. Since then, Steelers with 2 quick touchdowns, and now they get the ball back in San Francisco territory. From the Niners 42, Roethlisberger sets up the screen. It's DeAngelo Williams, stays on his feet, and has a Pittsburgh first down to the 31-yard line, gain of 11.
Todd Haley is in a good rhythm right now, the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the second time we have seen him have the exact right play called into a blitz by the San Francisco 49ers. Blitz coming from the left side. He's got a screen going out to that offensive right side, right to where the player vacated.
New set of downs for the Steelers from the 31-yard line. On first down, hand off to Williams. It's a yard and a half down inside the 30. We are under 4 minutes remaining. Steelers on the move. Roethlisberger is 12 of 17, 229 yards in the air. Antonio Brown already over 100 yards for the second straight week. Big first half for Darius Hayward-Bay as well. And the Steelers defense with 3 sacks, and they forced the turnover. On 2nd and 9, over the middle, it's Brown. Another Steelers first down, 5th reception for Brown. That extends his record streak, 34 consecutive games with at least 5 receptions.
Yeah, he's going to be coming out of the slot. Or actually coming from the outside, getting in behind. He's got a great feel. We all talk about his speed, but he's also got that great feel. He works the underneath area of the field just as well as he stretches it vertically.
1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Roethlisberger
that's one of the things. You can't allow Ben Roethlisberger that much time in the pocket. That's what concerns every defensive coordinator when you're playing him. You can just see he's got the shuffle, the slide. He extends the play.
First and goal from the 5. D'Angelo Williams down to the 2. As we saw Miller come in and try to get some extra yardage by pushing Williams. That is legal. So it will be second and goal as clock winds down toward the 2-minute warning. Roethlisberger looks to the sidelines, and they will not run a play, so we hit the 2-minute warning in Pittsburgh with the Steelers leading by 19 when we return. Second and goal from the San Francisco 2. Videos and more at itunes.com/NFL. Second and goal from the 2-yard line for Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Roethlisberger has completed his last 7 pass attempts. Wheaton in the slot. Williams in the backfield. The handoff to Williams, and he walks it in for his second touchdown today.
Wow. This offense has looked impressive here in the second quarter. And they just everywhere control the line of scrimmage, running the football, deep passes, explosive, have the Niners completely on their heels. The only thing they haven't been able to do, Kenny, is convert the extra point, kicking it.
No, and Scobie missed 2 field goals in the opener. His first game as a Steeler. Hit the left upright in his first extra point attempt today. This time, Scobie's kick just sneaks through. As we get a preview what's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
I'm Kurt Menefee here on the red carpet where we're getting ready for the 67th Primetime Emmys later on tonight on Fox. All the stars will be out here in just a bit, including our guys, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. We will get you all caught up on all 10 games going on in the early window here in the NFL. That's on the Visa Halftime.
Thanks, Kurt. We look forward to it. So do you think when Terry was winning all those Super Bowls here in Pittsburgh, he ever thought he'd be on the red carpet prior to the Emmys?
Absolutely. Remember, he dabbled in the acting career there for a while.
That's right.
He's done a little bit of everything, acting, singing. I don't think there's anything that Terry Bradshaw doesn't think he can do.
You think Terry is aware that Ben Roethlisberger, with his next win, would tie his Steelers franchise record?
You know, I wonder. I wonder if he realizes.
When we spoke to Ben on Friday, had the utmost respect for Terry. He said, I hope he's proud. It's an honor to be in the same category as him. He said, I had one of my records broken at Miami of Ohio, and I took it as an honor.
Yeah, especially for the quarterbacks. You know, from Terry's era, the game has changed so much. It's become such a passing league. And, you know, those records are not going to stand very long. But the career wins, that's the impressive thing when you start talking about the team goals. So those dominant Steeler teams from the 70s that Terry was a part of, it just shows the success that this organization continues to have decade after decade. It's very impressive.
Well, first half summary. 49ers with that long drive settled for a field goal. Steelers have scored touchdowns on their last 4 possessions, and Antonio Brown extending his record streak. Has not been the homecoming Jim Tom Sula envisioned, at least to this point, with his 49ers trailing 29-3 as Hyde cuts it back to the inside and then gets wrapped up by Will Allen.
Well, this defense had something to prove this afternoon when they came out here. You know, a lot of questions after that Patriot game. And we talked about it at the top. You have to replace a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator in Dick LeBeau, a difference maker, just a unique player in Troy Polamalu. There are going to be growing pains, but I don't think any Steeler fan expected that type of performance defensively.
And they lost so many other key players as well on 2nd and 8. Pass to the outside is caught by Quentin Patton at the 29-yard line. Ike Taylor, Brent Kiesel, Jason Worlds, no longer members of the Steelers D. Third down and 1. Kaepernick's pass is caught by Hyde, and he picks up the first down, breaks away from Shazier. Niners have only 1 timeout. Lost an early challenge and then took a timeout during that long drive, that 17-play drive. It took just under 9 minutes, held to 3 points. Since then, the Steelers with 3 touchdown drives that took a combined 5:09.
They have an explosive element in their offense that we haven't seen from San Francisco right now. It's that old style where a lineup where run-first mentality. We've got multiple tight ends here. They're going to have to change their thinking here with 1:06 to go and then into the second half.
And the 49ers will get the ball first following halftime as Kaepernick breaks free following the initial attempt to bring him down by Shazier. Takes it out to the 36-yard line.
But he has unique speed from the inside linebacker position, Ryan Shazier. And this is a very, very athletic quarterback in Colin Kaepernick. And the ability to be walked up in fake blitz to the left side, be able to drop back out and run him down to the right side of the field.
Second down and 5, high snap. Kaepernick stands in the pocket. And now swings it out. Pass intended for the rookie Davis, incomplete. Clock stops with 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter. It will be 3rd down and 5 for the San Francisco 49ers. Complexion of this game changed when the Niners had 1st and goal inside the 10. Committed penalties and negative plays, held to a field goal. And since then, it has been all Pittsburgh. 3 Steeler touchdowns here in the second quarter. Kaepernick on 3rd and 5. He throws and the pass broken out. Terrific defensive play made by the free safety, Mike Mitchell. So the 49ers send out the punting unit.
Now they have done everything right here in the first half. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense, it's a tight end. It's very athletic. It's just tremendous coverage. A lot of times when you're Vernon Davis and you're working against a safety, you think you've got that matchup the way you would like it, but that was great coverage by Mike Mitchell.
So Bradley Pinion out to punt for the 3rd time. Browns' first return, 16 yards, set up tremendous field position for the Steelers. Punt bounces out of bounds right around the 20. Well, the 2016 U.S. Open Championship will be held at Oakmont Country Club, just 14 miles northeast of downtown Pittsburgh. It's considered one of the best tests of championship golf in the country. The 2016 U.S. Open only on Fox and FS1. Oakmont has hosted a record 8 U.S. Open championships. Next year will be the 9th, dating back to 1927 when Tommy Armour took home the winner's share of $500.
A little bit more nowadays.
And then who could forget 1962, a 22-year-old Jack Nicklaus edging Arnold Palmer in a playoff round.
I remember watching it the last time it was at Oakmont. The distance, the rough, when they have the USGA go in and set that course up, Oakmont can become one of the hardest courses these guys ever play.
Oh, tough venue for the San Francisco 49ers. They trail 29-3 at the half. Time now for the Visa Halftime Report. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. What a first half for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They scored touchdowns on 4 consecutive possessions and lead 29-3. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. As we welcome you back to Pittsburgh, 49ers will receive the second half kickoff. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston. Darryl, first of all, congratulations. It was announced this week you are under consideration, one of the 108 candidates for election to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. I expect you to be patting the ballot box.
Absolutely. So make sure to vote online. First half, many of the Steelers look like Hall of Famers.
I tell you what, that defense, we talked at the top, you had 10 days to get those corrections made. They really did. They're playing really good fundamental football. The pursuit's been great. Not the same thing on the other side. Boy, Pittsburgh's offense is really taking advantage of that secondary. The San Francisco 49ers, some explosive plays down the field. They're averaging over 18 yards per attempt, during the course of the game. So they've got to get some things short up. You wonder if that takes San Francisco out of their comfort zone here in the second half. They have to throw the ball a little bit more.
Look at the first half statistics. Steelers had the ball for only 12 minutes, 15 seconds. They scored 29 points. Check out the yards per play. Over 9 for the Steelers, under 3 for the Niners. Taking it out is White. For the 18-yard line, the rookie free agent out of Alabama, DeAndrew White. So Colin Kaepernick and the Niners offense out to begin the second half. Kaepernick 11 of 15. He was sacked 3 times in the first half. Carlos Hyde 40 yards on the ground. Torrey Smith 3 receptions. So the Niners, who had that 17-play drive earlier, but were held to a field goal. That was their best offensive drive of the day. They start from the 18-yard line. The toss to Hyde, and it's Ryan Shazier yet again, bringing down his college teammate for a loss of 2 as we head down to the field and check in with Laura.
Hi, Kenny. I talked to Coach Jim Tomsulo. Didn't have a lot of words. Told me the words he did use in the locker room. Pretty simple. Say, put your heads down. Let's go. Defensively, I asked him the biggest thing we're going to see differently in the second half. He said fundamentals. Offensively, offensively, he said we've got to get execution going. We got to get a rhythm going. As for Mike Tomlin, said so much talk about communication on defense this week. I asked him, is this what the same page looks like that you guys are on? He said, we played 30 minutes of good ball, but we're not going to break our hands patting ourselves on the back. What I like most is we're not kicking our own butts. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Laura. Following the catch by Torrey Smith. 49ers facing a 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, rule number 1, don't beat yourself. And unfortunately, the first half for the 49ers, they were kind of falling into that trap a little bit.
Hyde hit hard. It's Mitchell coming up. But Hyde does look to have the first down on forward progress. So the 49ers able to move the chains.
Here we are. This is Mike Mitchell, your safety position. There's Bud Dupree. That was after Mike Mitchell on the first hit. It's just the pursuit to the ball, the rally, all the fundamentals that we didn't see in that opener are very, very evident by this defense today.
First and 10 from the 29-yard line. Kaepernick steps up, avoids the sack. And it's Shazier who takes him down. Shazier led the Steelers with 7 tackles in the first half. Also had a sack involved in 2 plays early in the 3rd quarter.
A little stunt to the inside by James Harrison, and then wrapping around by Cameron Hayward. And Colin Kaepernick in that situation, one-on-one in the open field against an inside linebacker. You like that, but not if that linebacker is Ryan Shazier. Just the speed, the athleticism, pretty impressive.
Kaepernick gained 8, 2nd down and 2. It is Shazier yet again, and then a late flag is thrown at the end of the play.
He trusts his instincts coming from that inside linebacker position. He watches the blocking up front. He knows when he can shoot a gap because of that speed to be able to make the tackle in the backfield.
Personal foul. Clipping. Offense number 71. It's a 15-yard penalty. Replay. 2nd down.
That's on Eric Pierce, the right tackle, his 2nd penalty today.
Clip's going to be out here on this side, but I want you to watch Ryan Shazier, that linebacker spot coming in. He trusts his instincts, and that's the big thing. You sit there, you watch film, you're going over scripted plays during the course of the week to get ready to play the 49ers. As you start to see things, you have that trust, and now you use your speed and your athleticism to get in and create negative plays.
He knows all about the history of the linebacker position with the Steelers. His dad was a high school defensive coordinator and a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. 2nd down and 18. Kaepernick sacked for the 4th time today. Arthur Moats breaking through.
The offensive line was an area of concern for the 49ers coming into the season. They played well against Minnesota last week, but Pittsburgh's front is really taking this over. We've got stunts coming this way, and we got guys looping underneath. They are not picking up these games, and we've got players that are free right to the quarterback. You can see the confusion. Joe Staley, Alex Boone talking to the center. Just breakdowns in the front in the offensive line for the Niners.
3rd down and 24. Niners must get to the 39-yard line for a first down as Kaepernick takes off. And he's tackled yet again by Shazier. So the Niners will punt it away.
And you've got a quarterback who's trying to take that next step. He wants to be in the pocket and stay a passer longer and not, just all of a sudden become a runner every time. But right now, he may have to kind of throw that one out the window and just do what's necessary to help this offense build some kind of positive momentum, because Pittsburgh is just taking over the line of scrimmage. They're in the backfield almost every snap.
Kaepernick may call Kurt Warner tonight. You didn't tell me about Ryan Shazier. Where'd he come from? Pinion punting from his 6-yard line. Antonio Brown on the run. Now signals fair catch at the 43. What a day for the Steelers. What a day for Ryan Shazier.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL. By Corona, who invites you to find your beach. And by Burger King. Try our Oreo Red Velvet Shake. Now you can have your cake and drink it too.
That's Jim Tomsula's alma mater, Steel Valley Middle School and High School, some youth football. The varsity team with a 55-0 win over Stowe Rocks on Friday night.
Coach Tomsula needs some of those points right now.
Pass complete to Brown.
Well, that's a better start to the second half, because I tell you, this Pittsburgh offense in that second quarter they were doing anything they wanted to do. They could run the football effectively. They were down the field vertically. They were underneath with big plays.
Loss of 1 on the reception by Antonio Brown, his 6th of the day. Second down and 11. Screen to D'Angelo Williams. And a nice tackle made by Eric Reed, no gain.
That was a real nice tackle by Eric Reed, because again, they had a good play call into that blitz by the 49ers. Todd Haley really anticipating those pressure situations and having good plays called, but Eric Reed got up and made that tackle because that looked like it was another big gainer.
Third down and 10. Roethlisberger looked right, throws to the left. It's Williams. And for the first time today, the Steelers go 3 and out.
That's a huge confidence builder for the team, and it's like what Coach Tomsula said to him at halftime: put your head down, let's just get back out there and work. Well, you can come out and work. The offense had 0 success in their opening possession, so there's a tendency to have frustration there. This defense comes out and has a nice series, so they're going to have to start to build the momentum to try and get this 49er team back in this game.
Aussie to Aussie for the second time. Taken at the 10-yard line by Hain. 7-yard return out to the 17. Week 2 continues later today on Fox, and for some of you on CBS. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN. Beautiful afternoon in Pittsburgh. Home opener for the Steelers. This is the 7th drive for San Francisco. They have not yet started a possession beyond their own 20-yard line. This is Kaepernick on the keeper. Loses the football. And it looks like Garrett Selleck has recovered. He's the brother of Eagles tight end Brent Selleck.
Even when they have a blocker on Ryan Shazier, it doesn't work out. Has a collision with Joe Staley right there. That's why the ball comes free. He's so athletic in space. Tough for Joe Staley to be able to get a good hit on him. He just uses his athletic ability to maneuver around him and make the hit.
And it's 6 on the play. Now Kaepernick throws, and it's Vernon Davis who makes the catch for a 49ers first down at the 28-yard line.
But even right there on a simple little play like that, Colin Kaepernick is expecting Vernon Davis to be in a hitch route. You know, go down 6 yards, shut it down, turn, look at me. He's kind of drifting in that situation, so still not really on the same page right there.
Here's set of downs for the Niners. They trail 29-3. Kaepernick fires downfield, and it's off the hand of the intended receiver, the rookie tight end Blake Bell. To Los Angeles, Mike Hill.
Hey guys, last week, Jameis Winston's debut didn't go so well. This is how you bounce back. Already with a throwing touchdown. Here he is, rushing it in. Bucks up 17-7 in the third. Kenny, Darryl, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. So a rough start to the season for the New Orleans Saints, trailing Tampa Bay today by 10. Quick out to Anquan Boldin. And Boldin is out to the 34, and there is a flag.
A good job by the officials right there getting that separated, because Anquan Boldin popped up. Lawrence Timmons a little bit late on the hit right there and got in and separated that.
After the play, personal foul, defense number 94. That 15-yard penalty will be added at the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Tempers flare on the field, but you got to keep your wits about you. It's a good job by the officials getting in there and making sure that situation didn't escalate.
Lawrence Timmons flagged. Line of scrimmage now the 49-yard line. Kaepernick sets, and the pass is caught by Anquan Boldin for a 49ers first down.
We've talked about the pursuit of the defense here. You're going to see again, it's just a little bit late, and then you kind of drop in the elbow. You're going up towards the head. No place in the game for that one. Too much respect between opponents.
From the 38 on first down after the fake to Hyde, it's Kaepernick. And he dives inside the 30 and is close to another San Francisco first down.
Well, what a difference from the first series to this series. There's the rhythm that Jim Tomsula talked to Laura about at halftime. He just did not have any type of rhythm in that first half, and even that first drive here to start the second half. But this drive, you know, in and out of the huddle quick, getting to the line of scrimmage, good balance in the play calling that's going on right now.
Kaepernick picked up the first. Fullback Miller shifting. From the 28 off the fake to Hyde. Kaepernick steps up and throws. And Vernon Davis unable to hang on. Looked like he had it, then took a hard hit.
Absolutely had this ball. Possession, feet down, and then the hit by Antwon Blake knocks it loose.
Unable to maintain possession. Got both feet down. Here comes Blake.
Just, you see him let up just a little bit there at the end. Got a little loose with the ball. He didn't realize Antwon Blake was coming in.
2nd and 10 from the 28-yard line. Kaepernick to the outside, and Boldin could not hold on. You have not seen that very often throughout his 13-year career.
I don't know if I've ever seen that through Anquan Boldin's career. I mean, he's known as a big physical possession receiver. They get a nice play call here. Watch, they're going to get William Gay in a tough spot. He drops down on Bruce Miller, but it's actually going up over the top. That's an easy catch for Anquan Boldin. You see, take his eyes off it. All you young guys out there, he thinks he's got it. He's looking to the inside of the field to see where that pressure's coming from. He didn't have it secured.
947 career receptions, 14th all time. 3rd down and 10. Play clock winding down. Kaepernick to Hyde. And Hyde is close to a first.
That's a good, quick decision by Colin Kaepernick right there. It's 3rd and 10. You've just had 2 drops by your guys, and you think you got to stretch it down the field to get that distance. Check it down to Carlos Hyde. See if he can break a tackle and push it up to that first down mark.
He gains 9.5, just short. 49ers leave the offense out on the field. 4th and inches. Kaepernick on 4th down. He throws. Davis makes the catch. Takes another hard hit from Blake, but this time hangs on to the football. So the 49ers on 4th down pick up the first.
Good confidence there in Colin Kaepernick and your passing game. Going to cross the formation. Vernon Davis coming underneath right there. Got to float it up a little bit so it hangs. That gives Antoine Blake time to get up there and put another big hit on Vernon.
49ers in the red zone for the second time today. 1st and 10 from the Steelers' 12. The handoff is to Hyde. And he was met initially by Will Allen. Gain of 2 down to the 10. Davis back in. On 2nd down. 49ers had a 17-play drive earlier, culminating with a field goal. 11th play of this drive, 2nd down and 8. Kaepernick over the top, and it's taken down to the 3-yard line by Bruce Miller, 49ers fullback. So it will be 3rd down and 1.
Again, I like the patience of Colin Kaepernick, checking it down, taking what the defense is giving you. Don't try and force it into a situation where you could have a potential turnover.
Deepest penetration by the 49ers offense.
There's Anquan Boldin in the slot. See if he gets an opportunity to make up for that drop.
He comes in motion. Davis in the backfield. Kaepernick looking for the rookie Davis in the end zone. Could not connect.
You've got Quinton Patton coming across the formation, making you respect that speed sweep. They try and slip Mike Davis out into the flat, but good coverage, good awareness by Pittsburgh's defense.
So it is now 4th and goal from the 3. 2 tight ends and a fullback in. Davis in the backfield, Boldin split to the left. On 4th down, it is Davis in the yard on 4th and 1. No signal yet from the officials. And he did pick up the 1st down. So for the 2nd time on this drive, Jim Tomsula going for it on 4th and 1. And the 49ers convert yet again.
Well, unfortunately, Kenny, I think they're going to have to be in this situation the rest of the game. And they've put themselves in such a deficit where they're not going to have the liability or the opportunity not to go for it on 4th down.
Davis remains in the backfield. And now the challenge flag has been thrown by Mike Tomlin, challenging the spot of the football following that last play.
Pittsburgh is challenging the ruling on the field of where the spot.
Both head coaches lost a challenge earlier. So Craig Rolstad will take a look at the 4th and 1 run by Davis.
This game is sponsored by Verizon. Watch live local games with NFL Mobile only on Verizon.
Steelers challenging the last play. Here's Craig Rolstad.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It will be 1st down and goal for San Francisco. Pittsburgh is charged with a 1st timeout.
Steelers out of challenges as we take a look and check in with Mike Pereira. Mike, what did you see?
I think this is why the ruling stands. Watch him get almost to the 2. I kind of think he doesn't get there with the ball, but there's nothing to prove that it doesn't, because you can't see the ball at the time that his most progress was gained, so they're right to leave it as called.
All right, thanks, Mike. 1st and goal. This is Davis. Davis remains in. Hyde has gone to the locker room, and Davis gets bottled up.
Yeah, there's nowhere to run for these running backs either. And with Carlos Hyde going in, Reggie Bush inactive today, they're down to Mike Davis and Jared Hayne at the running back position. And for either one of those guys right now, not a whole lot of room to run. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense has taken control of the line of scrimmage in the 2nd quarter and hasn't relinquished it.
Miller at fullback in front of Davis. 2nd and goal from the 2 off the play fake. Kaepernick to the end zone. And he overthrows the 4th string tight end, the rookie 4th round pick out of Oklahoma, Blake Bell.
I mean, Daniel McCullers, number 62, is your backup nose tackle. They're just firing through. They're knocking the line of scrimmage back 1.5 yards at the snap of the ball.
Niners lost one of their backup tight ends, Vance McDonald, earlier to a knee injury. His return is questionable, so Bell remains in. Davis in for Hyde. Third and goal from the 2. The handoff to Davis. Looks to take it up the middle, and he was met initially by the nose tackle, Steve McClendon.
They've tried play action to the outside, power runs inside, and now you've got just a ton of big bodies in there. We talk about the speed of Ryan Shazier, but there he shows you a little bit of the physicality, taking on the blocker in the hole, shedding him, and making the stop.
So again, the 49ers face a 4th down situation. They're 2 for 2 on this drive. They have 3 tight ends in the game, and the fullback. Bell shifting. On 4th down, here is Kaepernick to the end zone, and he looked to find Miller, who could not maintain possession as he went to the ground. So close, but Bruce Miller could not hang on. 17-play drive, no points. Late third quarter here in Pittsburgh. Steelers maintaining a 29-3 lead on the 49ers, who went for it on 4th down and could not convert.
Got Bruce Miller in the flat.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner lost the ball, going to the ground, did not maintain possession, therefore it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 1st down, Pittsburgh at the 2-yard line. San Francisco will be charged with his first timeout.
So both head coaches go 0 for 2 on the day on challenges. Tomsula had to challenge because it was not a scoring play, not ruled a touchdown by the officials. So another 17-play drive. And this time the 49ers come away with nothing, held to a field goal earlier following a 17-play drive. Here's D'Angelo Williams. Williams all the way out to the 6. This season, stream live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Week 2 in the National Football League.
5, 2nd and 5.
Home opener for the Steelers. They've won 11 of their last 12 home openers. First road game for the 49ers. Short week. San Francisco played Monday night. Steelers open the season on Thursday. We've talked about that in our open, and it's hard to know what effect that has had on the game. 49ers going into the game certainly did not make any excuses. They said the schedule came out in April. We knew the deal.
Absolutely. You play the schedule that is afforded to you, and Jim Tomsula talked about, we've known about this since late spring. We knew what it was going to be like coming off the late Monday night, traveling East Coast the following Sunday. We don't make any excuses for that. We structure our practices. We get ready mentally to play the game. So he will not talk about a short week having any impact on this game. What he's going to talk about is the inability to be effective inside the red zone. As you pointed out, 2 17-play drives that net 3 points. So you're showing the ability to move the ball, but you're not doing anything once you get down to the red zone.
Meanwhile, the Steelers, this will be their 36th play, and they scored 29 points. As Roethlisberger fires downfield looking for Brown. And again, a nice play made by the free safety, Eric Reed.
Good range by Eric Reed right there, because it looked like another explosive play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we've seen Colin Kaepernick under duress all afternoon. Look at the time that Ben Roethlisberger has there. Eric Armstead gets there a little bit late. You miss him on the jam right there. You better understand. I don't know what was going on in coverage there at that point, but Kenneth Acker needs to get a little bit more at the line of scrimmage on that release to help out Eric Reed.
Barry from deep in his end zone.
Great kick.
This time it is DeAndrew White back deep, not Jared Hayne for the 49ers. And White is tackled at the 35-yard line by Will Allen, a 62-yard punt. For Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, 36 total plays run by Pittsburgh. They've scored 29 points, touchdowns on 4 consecutive possessions. And for the 49ers, as we've been talking about, they've had 2 17-play drives that come away with a total of 3 points. Penalty markers on first down. It's a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Eric Pierce, that's his third penalty today.
Yeah, and you know, that offensive line, which is a question mark coming in, has not been helpful today, and you wonder what that impact will be on Colin Kaepernick in this situation. We're looking at a 4-possession drive. We talked about those long 17-play drives. They've got to find a way to be explosive. They've got to score and change field position quickly.
Kaepernick fires downfield to a wide-open Vernon Davis. And Davis takes it all the way down to the 26-yard line of the Steelers. As the third quarter comes to an end, a 43-yard connection. Biggest offensive play of the day for San Francisco. No scoring in the third quarter. We begin the fourth. First and 10 for the Niners from the Steelers' 26. Kaepernick with time fires over the middle, and making the catch is Bell, and there is a flag.
That's a great job holding on to this one, coming off your traditional tight end spot to the left, finds that soft spot in the zone. Watch the hit. Might have a forearm to the head.
At the conclusion of the play, unnecessary roughness, defense, hit against a defenseless receiver. That penalty is half the distance to goal, automatic first down.
Welcome to the NFL, Blake Bell. That's his first career reception.
That's a big hit by Will Allen, and it was forearm, but I don't know if it got to the head or neck area. It looked like he got him more in the upper back. You can see Blake Bell reaching around right there. It was a violent hit.
Former quarterback at Oklahoma. So the penalty is marked off. It'll be first and goal from the 7. One more look.
See, he comes in, he throws that forearm, but he's down in the mid-back area. So officials are going to err on the side of safety, on player safety, but I think that was just a good physical forearm by Will Allen.
Now Bell heads off the field. Niners already lost a tight end earlier, Vance McDonald. We'll check in with Mike Pereira. Mike?
You know, I didn't get the number that was announced here, but if you take a look, 20 shot is clearly to the back and legal, but the question is, does number 50, the second player coming in with the shoulder to the helmet, clearly you're dealing with a defenseless player, and to me, that's the aspect that is a foul.
Back by Shazier, the second Steeler with the hit on Bell. Kaepernick's pass is brought by Davis, and he's met immediately by James Harrison, gain of just 1.
James Harrison, the ageless wonder. Guy's a specimen. 37 years old. Still playing at a very high level. Logged the most snaps of all the outside linebackers in that opener against the Patriots.
And all of his teammates and coaches we spoke with, they say he's one of the first ones in the weight room and one of the last out at the end of the day.
He's the first one in the last room, never leaves the weight room, stays in overnight. The guy is massive.
Now in his 13th season, 37 years of age, and now a timeout is taken by the 49ers as Kaepernick heads to the sidelines. Early fourth quarter, Steelers with the touchdowns on 4 consecutive possessions. Niners have had those 2 long drives, but we're not able to capitalize.
Yeah, and those are backbreakers, and you're efficient down the field, but they just struggled in the red zone. I mean, to go 34 plays and only get the 3 points out of that. And then on the opposite side, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been very explosive all afternoon, and that's really been the difference here. And it's the beginning of the season. We still don't know a lot about all the teams, and from week to week, things are going to change through the first 3 or 4 weeks, and you see maybe the opportunity to go on the road and play as opposed to playing at home. San Francisco looked very good Monday night at home against a good opponent, Minnesota. Pittsburgh not looking nearly as well as they did today at New England on Thursday night to start the year.
Second and goal from the 6. Kaepernick steps up, and he throws, and it's broken out. Pass intended for Torrey Smith. Diving to make the play is Brandon Boykin, who did not get into a play on defense last week. He's the former Philadelphia Eagles. Steelers acquired him during the preseason.
Going to go all the way to the back of the end zone and work that backside. Torrey Smith coming across. He's got a step. It's a little bit on the back shoulder, but you've got your linebackers dropping back into coverage, so those windows are closing. So that's a tough fit. Torrey Smith can maybe work his way back towards the quarterback as that ball approaches to cut down that angle.
goal. Third trip into the red zone for the 49ers. They have not been able to reach the end zone. And a flag is thrown.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
It was one of the comments that Coach Tomsula had about the Minnesota game is we liked the pace of play that we had offensively until we got into the red zone, and we didn't really kind of keep that up. It's been a situation here again this afternoon. They have really struggled once they've got down into the red zone.
Here comes Carlos Hyde. He was in the locker room getting evaluated for a potential head injury. Joins his teammates on the sidelines. Following the penalty, 3rd and goal from the 11. As Kaepernick is sacked for the 5th time today. It is the rookie out of Kentucky, the first-round draft pick, Bud Dupree. 2nd sack of the season.
Just what this defense needs, more speed in that front 7. Now they've got Bud Dupree. He's going to come off the edge on the stand-up outside linebacker. He has Eric Pierce beat right away. Just runs the loop on him. Colin Kaepernick had no chance.
Dupree with a sack of Tom Brady last week. Now takes down Kaepernick. 4th and goal from the 14. Kaepernick to the end zone. It is a touchdown. Anquan Boldin able to get both feet in. So the 49ers go for it on 4th down once again, and Kaepernick hits Boldin for the score.
Let's make sure his feet are in on this one. This is a scoring play, so it will be reviewed. Looks like that right foot carried out of bounds, and he got the left one down. Possession. Hard to see if that right foot stayed down as he secured possession, or did it come up and then re-tap outside.
The previous play is under review.
All scoring plays automatically reviewed. Not look like he got the right foot down in bounds. So Craig Rolstad will take a look.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Xbox One, the official game console of the NFL. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Last play under review. Here's Craig Rolstad.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a touchdown.
And the big thing there in that verbiage is the fact that the play stands as called on the field, because you're going to watch right here. Anquan Boldin is going to have possession. The big question is that right foot down when he has possession. It sure looks like it. You're going to see him actually even kick up a little bit of dirt. Then he gets that left foot down. So that was the question, and because it's called as, or it stands as called, they didn't have enough to overturn it or even to confirm it.
So it is a touchdown. Here's Phil Dawson for the point after. Dawson's kick is good. So Kaepernick hits Boldin on 4th down for a 49ers score. 49ers string together 2 long drives, finally reach the end zone. It's now a 3-possession game.
Yeah, it's a 3-possession game. They've had long drives. I think you onside kick here. You need a possession. They're going to kick it deep.
Through the end zone with 13-16 remaining.
My offense this afternoon has been good at marching down the field. We've struggled in the red zone. We really haven't hit any explosive plays except the one to Vernon Davis. You just converted a 4th and 15, so it's been hard for you to get chunks of yards. And with a 3-possession game right now, it's all about how many times can we get the ball back in that situation. And listen, I'm the one guy that doesn't dip into that 2-minute stuff with onside kicks and things until about 6 minutes to go in the game. But the way this game is gone, the nature of this game, I think I would have onside kicked in that situation to try and get the possession back.
You were that guy.
I was that guy.
Here's D'Angelo Williams. And Williams picks up a 1st down and more out to the 36. I was about to say that the 49ers defense has held the Steelers in check. They've gone 3 and out on their last 2 drives.
Yeah, they have played well the last couple of series. The one did a great job on the last one when they were backed up and they were able to force that 3 and out and get their offense good field position. But
That was the longest run of the day by Williams. Here's Williams again on first down from the 36, and he gains a couple. As we head to Los Angeles for another game break with Mike Hill. Mike.
Hey, Cards and Bears, and what a day for the rookie David Johnson, already with a 108-yard TD for an opening kickoff return, 13-yard touchdown run right here. Cardinals all over the Bears, 42-23.
All right, big day for Arizona. Thanks, Mike. Early fourth quarter in Pittsburgh. 19-point lead for the Steelers.
Black jet.
Roethlisberger using most of the play clock, took it down to 5, and now finds Brown on the wide receiver screen. And Antonio Brown is down to the 44-yard line. And for Brown, that is his 7th reception, extending his all-time record. He is now at 13 games. This now is 13th game with at least 7 receptions. On 3rd and 2, Roethlisberger moving to his right. And now he fires downfield for Marcus Wheaton, who makes the catch. Wilhoit defending, and Wheaton able to make the reception at the 49ers 8-yard line, a 48-yard connection.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out why is Michael Wilhoit in coverage of Marcus Wheaton as an inside linebacker. Look at 57. He's got to run the middle of the field with him. He's got no help at all. There's no safety over the top. He dropped down to cover the outside receiver. So you've got your inside linebacker running all the way down the field with the wide receiver.
So Roethlisberger goes over 300 yards for the day. First and goal from the 8. This is Williams, who has 2 touchdowns, and he is stopped just shy of a potential 3rd. And that is Wilhoit, who remains down.
Ball came loose, went into the end zone, but you'll see right here, DeAngelo Williams' knee is down right at that point, so.
Rolled down at the 1. 2nd and goal. Here is Williams. On the second effort, he is in. For DeAngelo Williams, it is his 3rd touchdown today.
Well, that first surge doesn't quite get DeAngelo Williams into the end zone. Comes the blocking, presses that hole right there. Antoine Bethea driving back, but they couldn't get his legs to stop. Nobody got down low and got his legs wrapped up.
So DeAngelo Williams with his 3rd rushing touchdown. His career high is 4 a game, which he's done twice. Roethlisberger was out on the field again, but Mike Tomlin sent out his kicker, Josh Scobie. Play is under review. The 3rd Williams touchdown.
This game is sponsored by the all-new Audi A3 e-tron plug-in hybrid. Plug in and take names.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a touchdown.
Ruling stands. 3rd touchdown for DeAngelo Williams. First Steeler with 3 rushing touchdowns in a game since Willie Parker in 2008. Same year that Williams last got into the end zone 3 times. He knows that Le'Veon Bell is back this week. Suspension reduced from 3 down to 2 games. Williams, 127 rushing yards in the opener. 3 touchdowns today. Scobie, the extra point. 36-10. Pittsburgh. So the 49ers, 3 consecutive trips to the NFC Championship game under Jim Harbaugh. An 8-8 season last year. Harbaugh now at Michigan. Both coordinators gone. Greg Roman, Vic Fangio. 4 key players announced their retirements. They lost these guys to free agency. Released Alden Smith and Darnell Dockett, who was in training camp. Jim Tomsula, of course, the new head coach.
And that's why what they wanted to talk about, not who we lost, but who do we still have here, because you still have 8 Pro Bowlers on that roster. So, you know, to hire Jim Tomsula, and I think one of the big things outside of San Francisco, outside of that locker room and that organization, was, you know, it kind of an unknown. What will this team be? You know, we don't really know a lot about Jim Tomsula outside of the San Francisco area, outside of the San Francisco fan base, outside of the Pittsburgh area, of course, in his homecoming. But if you talk to the players, they were thrilled with the decision. And I had a chance to talk to Justin Smith this week, and Justin Smith played defensive line under Jim Tomsula in San Francisco, and he made it really simple to me. You know, he said, listen, he's great. He's going to create a great environment. He sees the game from a player's perspective, even though he didn't play the game, but he hangs around with the guys and spends so much time. It's almost like he is. And he said, he did everything I thought he would do, and he did it the way I thought he would do it, which is his way. He didn't fall to the pressure of, hey, now you're a head coach, so you've got to do this, you've got to do things this way. He stayed true to who he is as a guy, and players love that. So this is a tough day on the road against an explosive team, and it hasn't worked out for the 49ers. Now we get to see about everything that everybody's talked about. How does Colin Kaepernick react to the adversity of a loss like this on the road, or a game like this on the road? You know, what is Jim Tomsula's response going to be? We've got 10:25 left, and they're down, you know, 26. You know, it'd be an impressive comeback. So what's going to happen? What happens in this drive right now as they go into it with the circumstances surrounding this afternoon?
First and 10 from the 20-yard line as Davis gains 5, and for more on Colin Kaepernick, downstairs to Laura.
Following up on what Daryl said, that was one of the things where we had Tomsula, we had offensive coordinator Jeep Christ, and teammates all say the difference they see in Colin, but said we need to see how he reacts when it's tough. I've watched him. He's usually a loner on the sideline, has not been alone once this entire game, either with his backup quarterback Blaine Gabbert, the quarterback coach Steve Logan, or a teammate. Kenny, I'll continue in a second.
All right, thanks, Laura. Second down and 5. Kaepernick complete, and breaking free is Torrey Smith. And Smith takes it all the way for a 49ers touchdown, 75 yards.
And who's the first guy to him? Here we go. Watch. Number 7, quarterback, is all the way down in a dead sprint down the field. What a laser throw by Colin Kaepernick on that. That's just a great play right there. You got a linebacker sitting in the middle of the field underneath that post by about 10 yards. Even though it's thrown on a line, it's over the top of the linebacker, right on stride to Torrey Smith.
Longest career reception for Smith. 49ers going for 2. Kaepernick to the end zone, and the catch is made by Smith. He hangs on. So San Francisco able to convert.
Well, an offense that hasn't been able to hit the big play. They had the one to Vernon Davis. They finally get it on this play here. You want to watch the linebacker drift. Oh, it's just right over the top of the linebacker, over Shazier, in between the two safeties, in stride. The biggest thing is in stride. He didn't have to wait on that ball. He's able to just catch, run, and use the speed to break away for the touchdown.
So the 49ers have put together back-to-back touchdown drives. You can't score a touchdown on a 17-play drive. Why not throw a 75-yard pass?
Exactly. And there's one of the things that you love about the quarterback. He's the first guy down there. I mean, he's 80 yards away, and he's the first one to get to Torrey Smith. So what Laura's saying, you know, he's involved with Blaine Gabbert on the sideline. He's talking to Steve Logan, the quarterback coach. You know, those are things that maybe he didn't do a lot of last year, but he's trying to kind of change his leadership style. But that's the one thing, the passion for the game. We talked about it with Jim Tomsula. It will spread throughout the locker room, and that's what you'd love to see. And there he is on the sideline again, getting ready for that next series.
All right, so do you look for the onside kick?
You have to. You have to. I would have done it on the last one. I still stand by my decision to do it on the last one.
Instead, Pinion goes deep. And the Steelers will take it at their 20. 3-possession game following this Torrey Smith touchdown. his first as a Niner.
Well, now what the Pittsburgh Steelers have to do, if you're going to kick off, if you're going to give me the ball, I'm going to make you second guess that decision not to try an onside kick. So Ben Roethlisberger likes up-tempo offense. In this situation, you heard him on that one series go, easy, easy. Take this clock down inside of 10 seconds at least. Don't stay with that pace that you always do. Let the clock be your friend in this situation. If you're a receiver, stay in bounds, because that clock will stop outside of 5 minutes until the ball is ready for play.
From the 20 on first down, the handoff to DeAngelo Williams. And Williams gains 3 out to the 23-yard line with 9.5 remaining. Steelers scored touchdowns on 4 straight possessions in the first half, as Vernon Davis gets worked on the 49ers sidelines. We've had 3 successful 2-point conversions, 4 challenges, both coaches 0 for 2. Rocky Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh before the largest ever regular season crowd to watch a Steelers game. They added seats during the offseason, over 66,000.
It's a great setting. You know, the addition with the new areas in the south end zone, but you know, coming into the game, you know, seeing the boats pulled up, the sailgating going on as a game. The weather's beautiful. It's just awesome. And you look at the right of your screen, that's all brand new. That used to just be applause, and now they've got seats.
We're down at 3. Replay for the Steelers. And it is Antonio Brown who makes the catch. Flag was thrown prior to the snap. Roethlisberger knew it was a free play. And Brown gains 57.
Offside. Defense, number 55. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Tremaine cannot play that soft on the outside. Tremaine Brock has got to at least get into the face, challenge that release. Antonio Brown is too fast for you to play. It's not even a bail type coverage. You kind of played heavy outside leverage on that release.
Roethlisberger's 4th completion today of at least 40 yards. 59 and 57 to Brown. Williams inside the 10. Takes it down to the 7-yard line.
Well, I think that DeAngelo Williams, you know, did what his responsibility was, why they brought him in here from Carolina, you know, a little bit to hold down the fort while Le'Veon Bell was suspended for those first 2 games. But he's shown a lot. You know, his running against the Patriots in week 1, his 3 touchdowns today, the way he's ran again this afternoon. It'll be interesting to see how they incorporate him into the offense.
Antonio Brown, corner of the end zone for the Steelers touchdown.
This has kind of been like a flip of the script from the Pittsburgh Steelers New England Patriots game to the San Francisco 49er to the Pittsburgh Steelers game. I mean, how do you not cover Antonio Brown? I mean, the big play on the penalty where you allow him a free release off the line of scrimmage, playing a heavy outside leverage technique, and now you're down in the red zone, and I mean, we're just going to let him get to the corner?
Second touchdown of the season for Brown. Here is Scobie for the extra point. So the Steelers come right back following the 49ers touchdown. Huge day for Brown and the Steelers offense. Pittsburgh Steelers, 5 plays, 80 yards. How about Antonio Brown? 195 receiving yards today, 1 shy of his career best.
Unbelievable. You come in here, we had him as our guy to watch at the top, and you know, it's amazing to me that somebody you have that much respect for, and when you game plan, I mean, everybody talked to us, you know, San Francisco, hey, you got to know what it is that they do, who do they go to in clutch situations, and whether it was Navarro Bowman, you know, Eric Mangini, it was Antonio Brown, and he still tore him up for 195 at this point today.
Led the league last season, 129 receptions. That's the second highest mark all time. Marvin Harrison, 143 back in 2002. So after neither team scored in the 3rd quarter, both teams with 2 touchdowns here in the 4th. First and 10 from the 20-yard line as Kaepernick connects with Smith for a gain of 5.
Pass complete to Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith, slow to get up. He heads off. Replaced by DeAndrew White.
Again, you know, just a sense of urgency right now. We're not onside kicking. We're not trying to steal possessions. But when we get the ball, you got to be ready to go. This thing has to turn around much quicker.
Second down and 5, and Davis gets stripped up.
Davis, the ball carrier.
Pick those feet up, Kenny.
Third down and 3. Under 7 minutes remaining. And Kaepernick's pass is caught for a first down on the slant. It's Bolden out to the 35.
Bolden. First down, San Francisco at their 35.
Kaepernick on first down over the top. And a hard hit is made on Quinton Patton, who gains 5. And we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Mike Hill. Mike.
Hey guys, remember America's Game of the Week is coming up next. That's Tony Romo getting warmed up in Philadelphia. Of course, he's without Dez Bryant, taking on the Eagles and former teammate DeMarco Murray, who'll probably get more than the 8 carries he got last week.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Ryan Shazier has left the field following that last play. Reaching up in his right shoulder area as the catch is made by DeAndrew White.
Pass complete.
Hopefully he's all right. He's played a great game today. He has been everywhere. Coverage, shooting gaps, making plays in the 49ers backfield. And he's got Quinton Patton coming across in that shallow route, and he comes in, and looks like he took the most of that.
Shazier worked on by the Steelers medical staff. First and 10 from the 47. With 5.5 to play. Rolling right. And he swings it to Patton, who makes the catch at the Pittsburgh 47.
Pretty impressive right there by Colin Kaepernick. Things are breaking down, and just a very quick release, very strong arm. Not even over the top. Trying to shake that off. Probably what you'll hear a lot of people referring to as a stinger or a burner, but I can tell you what, they feel a lot worse than that.
So there's number 50. You see the gold 50s on the field. Super Bowl 50 will take place at the 49ers home stadium on February 7th. First down, wrestled out of bounds at the 38-yard line is White. We saw Carlos Hyde leave the game earlier. Laura has an update.
That's always great news when we get to update with a positive story. Carlos Hyde was brought into the locker room to evaluate a head injury. He's back onto the field. He was cleared to play. Great news. Last week, how we celebrated his 100-yard game, Kenny, he went right to the ice club, from the ice tub, right from the locker room. So that's how much he's trying to take care of his body right now.
Thanks, Laura. So he celebrated the win and the big game. Today celebrates his 24th birthday. But not much to celebrate for a 49ers player or fan this afternoon as they trail by 25. Kaepernick to the near side. And it's Bolden who... It is ruled that he made the catch at the 23-yard line for a San Francisco first down.
He did a great job at the end zone on that touchdown catch. And here's another example. Anquan Bolden working the sideline.
And remember, Steelers cannot challenge. They are out of challenges. That's career reception number 950 for Anquan Bolden. And now Vernon Davis gets hit hard after making the catch by William Gay, and Davis limps off. Saw him getting stretched out on the sidelines earlier. '49ers again in the red zone from the Steelers 18. Kaepernick on 2nd and 5. Davis on the second effort after the first hit from James Harrison.
Does a great job of keeping his balance on that play. The big hit by James Harrison knocks him back. He regains his footing and then charges forward for more yards. Well done by Mike Davis.
Third down and 2. Kaepernick on the slant, and a sliding catch is made by Patton for San Francisco first down. So the 49ers on the move. Colin Kaepernick has set career highs for both attempts and completions. He's now 33 of 43. Regular season career highs. On first and goal, this is Davis. And Davis takes it down to the 3-yard line.
That's not where the 49ers want to be in their run-pass balance. Obviously, the nature of this game has kind of forced those statistics to balloon into the passing game. But Jim Tomsula wants his offensive line to be able to control the line of scrimmage. That wasn't the case today. Pittsburgh really took control of the line of scrimmage in the second quarter. Mike Tomlin very complimentary of the Niners. He thought they played excellent against the Vikings. Control both lines of scrimmage was a big point of emphasis for his group in preparation.
On second and goal, Kaepernick to the end zone. He was looking for Bolden. Blake on the coverage. Well, up next for Kaepernick and the Niners, a divisional game on the road against the Arizona Cardinals next Sunday.
And it'll be interesting to see how they respond. And we had an opportunity to talk with offensive coordinator Jeep Crisp before the game. And we are in that time of the NFL season where a lot of people are still learning about what the opponents are truly like, really what their team is truly like, because there's so much change. Not a lot of time in the offseason. You learn a lot, try to build a lot in the preseason. But through that first month of the season, you're still learning about things.
On third and goal, pass once again intended for Anquan Bolden.
He's just not healthy right now. I mean, obviously kind of reaching for his hand, but he's working out of the slot, trying to push him up and get outside.
So once again, 49ers leave the offense on the field on fourth down. They are 3 for 4 today. Steelers still without Ryan Shazier. Left earlier in this drive with a shoulder issue. Fourth and goal from the 3. Play clock all the way down, and Kaepernick will use the last San Francisco timeout. Well, our guys have been hanging on the red carpet all day, and tonight after the final scores are in, the biggest stars come out. It's the 67th Emmy Awards live on Fox. Andy Samberg hosts the biggest night on television. Don't miss the 67th Emmy Awards live after America's Game of the Week right here on Fox.
It's pretty wild watching everybody out there with the red carpet.
Our guys are ready. Kurt and the gang. First, it will be the Cowboys and the Eagles.
No Des Bryant for 10 to 12 weeks now. Let's see if one of those young receivers can step up. Terrence Williams, we'll see how he does in the number 1 role.
Marco Murray facing his former team.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting. Well, he's got good friends there too. I know Jason Witten and Tony Romo very disappointed that they couldn't get DeMarco Murray signed, and now he's an opponent in the division.
As Emmitt Smith was after he moved on to Arizona. Fourth and goal. Kaepernick takes off, looking for the end zone. He dives, touchdown. Ball came loose after he crossed the plane.
You know what? It looked like his knee might have gone down before he reached and broke that plane, Kenny. This is going to be interesting. He didn't dive. He didn't elevate and dive. Let's see if that knee went down before he stretched and broke the plane.
Looks like it was. All scoring plays are reviewed. And it certainly did look like Kaepernick's knee was down before the ball crossed the plane.
The previous play is under review.
Good hustle back by Bud Dupree. He was one of the outside rushers, comes back, makes the play that trips up Colin Kaepernick.
Last play, the Kaepernick run that was ruled a touchdown.
After review.
Under review.
The ruling on the field is reversed. The run was down by contact at the 1-yard line. Since it was fourth down, it's a turnover on downs. It'll be first and 10, Pittsburgh at the 1-yard line.
A good hustle play by Bud Dupree, number 48. You see him retracing after the pressure to come back. He's the one that gets the trip on Colin Kaepernick, forces them or prevents him from being able to kind of dive into the end zone.
So another long drive by the Niners. That one 15 plays, and they come away with nothing. Michael Vick now in at quarterback for the Steelers. And this is Jordan Todman, former Jacksonville Jaguar, as Ben Roethlisberger will tie Terry Bradshaw for the most regular season wins as a quarterback in Steelers franchise history. His 39th career 300-yard game, 3 touchdown passes, as the Steelers put up 43 points against the Niners. We hit the 2-minute warning here in Pittsburgh. 3 touchdowns for D'Angelo Williams. Steelers. 2 minutes remaining here in Pittsburgh, with the Steelers leading 43-24 as Michael Vick takes a knee. Steelers will win their home opener for the 12th time in the last 13 years. They travel to St. Louis next week. Rams with a season opening victory over Seattle last Sunday, lost to the Redskins today.
Well, that defense better get ready, because this offense is something special here in Pittsburgh. And last season set franchise records in points, total yards, passing yards per game, and they haven't slowed down. They were good against the Patriots. They moved the ball against the Patriots. They just didn't generate any points. Today, for explosive touchdowns, driving the ball, D'Angelo Williams with 3 rushing touchdowns. This is an impressive offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that list of upcoming schedule, those defensive units on those teams, you better be ready, because Ben Roethlisberger now gets Le'Veon Bell back. Martavis Bryant will be back after week 4. This group is only going to get better as they move forward.
The 3 touchdowns by Williams ties a franchise record for rushing touchdowns. Coming up, bonus coverage of the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants. 464 yards on offense in the loss up in Foxborough. 459 today for the Steelers.
Yeah, just very good in the red zone today. And for the flip side of this, for the San Francisco 49ers, they will not use it as an excuse. Nobody will use it as an excuse. The short week had no impact on this game. They didn't play well. Jim Tomsula will get this group refocused, ready to play next week. And I expect this to be a good learning experience. They're still trying to figure some stuff out. But this is not indicative of what this team is going to be through the rest of the season.
So not the homecoming that Jim Tomsula had in mind back in Pittsburgh. His first loss as a head coach. Coming up, the State Farm postgame and then bonus coverage of the Falcons and the Giants. Kurt Menefee, take it away.